All right, let's talk about something that makes pretty much all of us wince. And I'm not talking about the drill. I'm talking about the bill, right? It just feels like this massive, unavoidable cost. But here's a thought. What if the biggest expense isn't the actual dental work, but the waiting? Because as we're about to see, with your teeth, a tiny, cheap problem has a nasty habit of turning into a really, really big one.
I mean, it's the question on everyone's mind when you're leaning back in that chair, right? Why is this so expensive? And it's so easy to just blame the dentist or the insurance or the whole industry. But what if I told you the surprising truth is the single biggest factor driving up your dental bill might just be you?
And that idea, right there, just flips the whole problem on its head. See, it's not that dentistry is just flat out expensive. It's that ignored dentistry is expensive. The real cost isn't the problem itself, it's the time. All that time you let it sit there and get worse.
So, okay, how does this actually happen? How do things get so bad? Well, it all boils down to this concept of a silent progression. And this, folks, is probably the most misunderstood part of dental health. It's the reason these little tiny issues can just snowball into huge emergencies before we even have a clue what's going on.
Think about it. We're all wired to use pain as our alarm system, right? If it doesn't hurt, everything's cool. But when it comes to your teeth, that instinct is just dangerously wrong. Pain is not an early warning signal. It's the last-ditch screaming for help to stress call from a problem that's already become serious, complex, and, yep, you guessed it, expensive.
So let's see how this silent progression actually plays out in the real world. We're going to walk down 4 super common paths. You can kind of think of them as 4 different highways, all leading to the same destination, a major dental bill. And we'll see exactly how a tiny, easy-peasy fix can escalate when you just let it go.
Okay, path number 1, the classic cavity. We've all heard of them, right? But I think we seriously underestimate how they work. It starts as this tiny, quiet little invader, a perfect example of that silent progression we were just talking about.
So at first, it's just a painless little spot on your tooth's enamel. You'd never even know it's there. The fix at this stage? Super simple, inexpensive filling. Boom, done. But if you let it go, those bacteria just keep on marching deeper and deeper until they hit the nerve. That's when the pain finally hits you. And suddenly, you're not talking about a filling anymore. You're talking about a root canal and a crown. And if you wait even longer, the tooth is just a goner. It can't be saved. You've just gone from a cheap, simple fix to a major surgical procedure, an extraction plus an implant. And the cost? It's just exploded.
All right, path number 2 is even sneakier than a cavity. We're talking about a crack, and these things are often microscopic, starting out as these totally invisible stress fractures that you can't see and you definitely can't feel. Maybe it starts because you grind your teeth at night. It causes zero pain. If your dentist catches it early, the fix could be as simple as a night guard. Easy. But every single time you chew, you're putting pressure on that tiny crack, just wedging it a little deeper. And eventually, the whole structure of the tooth gets so weak that one day, bam, you bite into a pretzel or something, and a whole chunk of your tooth just breaks off. And now, it's way too late for a simple fix. You're right back in that same expensive boat, extraction and implant.
Okay, path number 3. This one is all about your gums. And this is a huge one, you guys, because gum disease is the #1 reason adults lose their teeth. And just like the others, it starts with pretty much 0 warning signs.
It kicks off with something we all just ignore, right? A little pink in the sink when you brush your teeth. That's stage 1. It's totally reversible with a good routine cleaning. But that little bit of inflammation, it's a sign of a much deeper battle going on. And if you leave it unchecked, bacteria start to cause the actual bone that holds your teeth in place to just dissolve, silently. You feel absolutely nothing until one day your teeth start to feel a little loose. And by then, oh man, the damage is already severe. Now you're looking at deep cleanings, maybe even surgery, or pulling teeth.
And for our last one, path number 4, let's talk about something you probably already have in your mouth right now, old dental work. You know, that filling you got back in high school? Well, it's not going to last forever. As it gets older, it can turn into the secret little gateway for all sorts of new problems.
So, over time, a tiny microscopic gap can open up right at the edge of an old filling. Bacteria, of course, love this. They sneak in there and start a brand new cavity, completely hidden from view. You feel absolutely nothing, but that hidden decay is just munching away at your tooth from the inside out, until one day the whole thing just gives way. What could have been a simple, cheap filling replacement has now turned into a huge, expensive mess. Okay,
So if it's so obvious that catching things early is cheaper and easier, why do so many of us wait? And look, it's not just you. There's a really powerful psychology going on here, and the reasons we all put it off are probably going to sound very, very familiar.
Do any of these ring a bell? It doesn't hurt. That's the big one, and we've already busted that myth. Then there's, I'm just too busy. Or my personal favorite, I really don't want to spend the money right now. And that one? That's the real irony, isn't it? Because waiting is the one thing that guarantees you're going to spend a whole lot more money down the road.
But here's the hard truth. While we're busy making excuses, the problem isn't. It doesn't pause. Decay doesn't take a vacation. That little crack doesn't care about your work deadline. The biology happening inside your mouth is on its own clock, and that clock is always, always ticking forward. This really puts it all into perspective. Think about it. You wouldn't wait for a tiny crack in your windshield to spread all the way across, right? You'd get it fixed. You wouldn't ignore a small oil leak in your car until the entire engine seizes up. Of course not. Well, your teeth are no different. They're part of a system, and they deserve that same common sense approach.
So what's the answer to all this? Well, it's actually pretty simple, and it's been staring us in the face the whole time. The smartest, the cheapest, and by far the least painful path forward is prevention. It's all about shifting your mindset from being reactive to being proactive.
I mean, let's just lay it out, side by side. You've got reactive care. You wait for the pain. That means more money, more invasive treatments, and a lot more stress. Then you've got proactive care, simple checkups. That means less money, less invasive treatments, and way less stress. The thing is, you're probably going to see a dentist eventually. The only real question is, which of these two paths are you going to choose to take?
And you know, these routine visits, they're not just about getting your teeth polished. They are actively stopping all those nightmare scenarios we just walked through. Your dentist can spot that tartar that leads to gum disease. They can catch that tiny cavity before it becomes a root canal. They can see that microscopic crack before it breaks your tooth. They can even spot the early signs of things like oral cancer. It's a huge deal.
So we really need to change how we think about this. Going to the dentist isn't just a chore you have to check off a list. It's not just maintenance, it's protection. It's a small investment you make today to protect yourself from a world of pain, stress, and massive expense tomorrow. It's basically insurance for your health and your wallet. Which brings us right back to where we started, with a final thought. The appointment you skip today might save you a little bit of money right now, but it practically guarantees you're going to spend a whole lot more down the line. So let me ask you, is the cheapest dental appointment the one you schedule or the one you avoid?